headed to Memphis. I believe they're 24-5 over their last 29 games. Really, really well coached. I mean, well coached, good football team. Exotic defensively, 3-3-5, but yet do a lot of movement, a lot of different blitz patterns. Very confusing defensively. We have to continue to watch more and more film on them because they play a little bit different each and every week depending on formations and whom they're playing. Offensively, they run the read zone as good as anybody, and their quarterback is a good runner, good thrower. They've got a really good tailback, more than one, but a really good tailback. And then they went into the portal or went recruiting, got a couple of good wideouts from Hutch JUCO. Good offensive line. That's, they're in this world. They're revamped as well. They have two guys starting for them from last year offensively, and one a really good defensive end in Whitlow. On defense, kicking game's really good. Got a good kicker. He's made a 55-yarder, I believe, this year already. So going over there will be an exciting opportunity. Hopefully we'll have a lot of Arkansas people over there to watch the game. So that'll be about it, and I'll take questions.
How's Kenai doing?
Kenai's good. Thanks for the question. Kenai came back with the team. He's good. I don't know whether he'll be able to play or not right now, honestly. He's been assessed, obviously, by the doctors and by Vance, but we're just happy that he's healthy and going to be able to recover from all that, but I don't know how fast.
Any opinions that you had during or immediately after the game that changed after watching the video?
No, not really. I pretty, what's amazing, guys, is, there's no downtime. In other words, your defense is out there, you're on the defensive headsets where the offense is, doing their adjustments. You make them as soon as the series is over, you make them with both coordinators. You talk to both coordinators as soon as it's over, and then you move on. So this game, special teams-wise, the same thing. This game, I thought what we talked about and things that we needed to change and do better and things we were doing well, there was really good communication there. What I thought I saw, I guess is your question, what I thought I saw and what I saw pretty much was correct after watching the tape.
Cam played 67 snaps, I think.
Who's that?
Cam Ball.
Yeah.
Is that just like 70% Cam Ball's better than the next best option, or is that about what we can expect? I mean, this seems like a lot of snaps for a defensive tackle.
I think that's what we need to expect out of him. I've taken him off of every special team except for, he's a left wing on field goal, which not too taxing, important, but you look back and you look at 51 from Ole Miss, and he played all but 2 snaps in the first half the week before we played him. To me, he's their best defensive lineman. And, we wanted to challenge that we could keep our better players on the field on the D-line. We're used to this 4-4 rotation, but if there's not close in there of who's better, I would rather have Cam out there when we can. Some of the extra reps probably, Trey, were that they didn't substitute and we couldn't get him off the field were some of the reasonings. But I wanted him to continue to play more ball.
First off, Quincy obviously was on the availability report and maybe played less snaps than the week prior. How's he doing health-wise? Any concern with him moving forward or with whatever it is?
I think there might be a concern, with him practicing. That's the key. He practiced 3 of the 4 practices, but not full speed. But when the quarterback or running back, I can't remember which one, got outside the pocket, he was flying after him. So I expect him to be healthy. He was moving. He couldn't have ran any faster. We need him back, and we need him healthy, obviously. He's in better shape right now than he was last Monday, so I expect him to be ready to go.
What's he dealing with right now?
It's just in his growing area that's tight.
So if Kenai has to miss any time, I think you guys brought in Jaheim, to replace him. But is that going to be like a competition this week? Do you want Jaheim taking most of the 1 reps? How are you going to go about figuring that out this week?
Well, he has to, because Kenai wouldn't be out there. And if you're asking past that, Davila would be the next guy. And we believe in him. We just got to make sure that he keeps his hands off the defenders, but he can cover. We just got. I think we'll probably put gloves on some of those guys this week, so they get that grabbing out of them, because that really hurt us Saturday as well.
When you did go back and watch the film, and maybe assessing that along with what you thought after the game, what stood out from the secondary? What are the biggest things that maybe you need to work on this week to improve that?
Well, the double move is obviously a concern, and we're going to get that because it was successful for Ole Miss. Lining up correct, and we've got to be better coaching. When you're checking to check, you can't make a guy travel. I mean, you just can't. And we did that down there on the goal line. Guy was wide open, and so we've got to do better there. Now, our whole key this week to me is go back a little bit more of the second half. It's hard to read alignments, eyes. Obviously you watch tape for a reason, and it's about cut splits. It's about who's on, who's off. It's about all these things in the secondary, what routes. So if you're changing late, you don't have your mind can't calculate all the things that here's a key here, here's a key here. If you're just lining up before they say set hut, you're not getting all that pre-snap stuff that you need. And so we went a little bit in the second half. 173 yards is still a lot of yards, but it sure as hell wasn't what it was the first half. And 10 points is a lot different than 31. And so if we'll allow them, play the play, make them make a play. A lot of times guys have a blitz over here, they'll check, you'll check blitz to the other side. Something very simple like that, then trying to change the way that we're trying to cover them. And so I think as much problem as it was stopping them personnel-wise, it was just as much problem of us getting in late calls and them not having an opportunity to calculate all the things that they learned through film study and practice.
I was going to branch out from that question. He asked you about the secondary, but when you said we have to get some things fixed on defense, when you saw the tape, generally what things and I'm sure Ole Miss had some nice schemes you had to adjust to, but what things were you meaning?
They really didn't do anything. They had one little route that they crossed. They ran a crossover route, flooded us out there. But I'm talking about from coaching to the players. I mean, we had 12 on the field down. We tried to make a substitution when there was nobody coming off the field. Now, we thought because the guy went out of bounds that which normally is the case, you get a little bit more time to sub because he went out of bounds on his sideline, but that wasn't the case. But we've got to do a better job over there coaching, and we have to do a better job of making sure that our kids have time to process. And those two things we didn't do well, but we did better in the second half, which gives us a little bit of spark going into this week that, hey, we've got good players. Let's line them up and quit trying to win the chess match every time and let our players play.
You're going back over to the Memphis area for the second time in 2 weeks. I wonder what you thought of the travel operation, the whole gamut of things that you deal with for that first road game, how everything worked.
Yeah, every Sunday, the first thing that we talk about is, do we want to go back to that place? How was it? The food, the bus from the airport, the airlines, all that stuff, and it went really well. Obviously we've been to Memphis. Not necessarily the team. There's not a lot of guys on our team, a ton of them that played in the Liberty Bowl, but we're staying at a different hotel than the Peabody. And but the travel went well. Our airlines was on time, did a good job, and actually we got home about 2:30, I think, maybe 2:15, somewhere. We were a little ahead of time there. The screening process went well, and the first time they check everybody, and then after that it's a percentile of guys. But it all went well, and I expect it to be a short flight over to Memphis. We bust the last 2 times we played over there because of it wasn't a sense of urgency that we get back, and most of the guys don't come back after a bowl game anyway. They go home. But so I think it'll be good. We'll leave at I don't know what time. I know our team meeting is 11:35, so we'll probably leave somewhere around 3 o'clock, I'm saying.
How much of the Ole Miss prep for a mobile quarterback kind of carries over to this week with Memphis's mobile guy?
Oh, I think anytime you have read offenses, that it'll carry over. You're going to have to. Are you going to surf the quarterback? Are you going to try to establish the mess point? Or what you're going to do is always questions that how you going to try to defend the read zone. But probably not a lot of carryover from Ole Miss to Memphis, to be honest with you. Besides that, they're really good at inside zone and really good at inside zone read. I mean, really good at it. To beat Memphis, defensively, you've got to eliminate that, and they're good at it, so it's hard to do.
And kind of with similar travel plans in terms of location and back-to-back weeks, I mean, how much of it is wiping what happened at Ole Miss, or maybe taking pieces of it for motivation?
Well, I mean, you can't let any one game lose the next one for you. It's just like you can't let a big win. You're not just going to win the next week. So we'll do the same process that we did, after Arkansas State and Alabama A&M, and correct what we need to correct today, and find out what we need to get better at. We'll find out what we're doing good is as important as that too, and move on.
Sam, on Ole Miss's last touchdown, it looked like it might have been a pick play or something. I'm curious what you thought. Did you get an explanation?
They haven't yet. We never, we don't get them till we sent in several plays, to be perfectly honest with you. But if that wasn't a pick, I don't know what is, and I don't think that'll cost me money. I don't think. I'm not saying it was a wrong call either, but I'm saying it was a pick.
And with Starzik, I know you've still got a lot of confidence in him and everything, but I'm curious, as a freshman kicker, are you worried about his confidence at all? Like, how do you approach that this week?
I don't think so. I mean, the first one he left right and a little wide. The second one, I mean, he hit really good. He probably overanalyzed missing and he barely missed the second one. I've got a lot of confidence, obviously. We took the ball. We took the ball to take the lead. That's, what we're trying to do. we got down there. Of course, hindsight, would we have kicked it or not, because if I knew how it was going the entire game, maybe we would have went for it. I don't know. But our whole deal in the staff was we're going to take the ball and take the lead and let them chase us, which we ended up chasing them the whole game. But he missed it. He certainly had made one this year already that way. But I have full confidence in him. He'll be fine. He's young. He'll be fine. And probably more than the first question that I have on the 4th and 2 was I going to fake the second one? And we had a fake in that we thought would work. And the problem there was it was a 10-point game. And I thought, well, if we can make the field goal, we can get it to one-score game. But we're really risking to get it to a 3-point game instead of 7. And so we elected to kick it, and unfortunately we didn't make it.
Oki back out there this past weekend. A handful of snaps. I mean, do you expect him to maybe ramp up a little bit more based on how it went this weekend?
He needs to. I mean, he needs to. He's ready to go, and didn't practice really full speed a lot last week. He practiced, but from the game he played fast for the limited amount of reps he had in practice. So he needs to, and I think he'll be in. We've already went over the injury report, and he should be ready to practice all week. If he does that, I think he'll play better.
How would you assess your run defense so far, just on the whole, especially when you're looking at Memphis with that running quarterback and then a really good running back as well?
Well, Memphis is scary running the football because they're good at it, and that's what they want to do. Certainly, I think we're better right now against the run than we are against the pass. But at the same time, we're not great at tackling in open space, so we've got to close that space and turn it back in. We didn't do that 2 or 3 times the other night where they got outside of us. But I think we'll have a really good plan and in the run game, and they're more of an inside type run game. Of course, when the quarterback keeps it, that becomes a space game. So we're going to work really hard on that and tackling in space this week. I feel like we're a little bit better against the run than what we are against the pass right now. They can do both, but they want to run the football. Their coach is an offensive line coach, and they're trying to run it down your throat, which they've been successful, obviously, doing.
Sam, with the kind of push you've gotten here the last 2 weeks, what are you seeing up front with your line? What are you seeing in terms of your run game? How confident are you there right now?
In our run game?
Run game, correct.
I think right now, to be perfectly honest, the only disappointment in Saturday was our first down run efficiency, especially in the third quarter. They misaligned, and Mike took it 40-something. They had their whole defense on the left. We ran to the right, which is pretty brilliant, and there was nobody there. Marion ended up blocking the safety. But we run the ball, we're throwing it so well, and we're protecting pretty good, and so right now you've seen the first 3 games. We're doing basically what we want to do offensively. So I think we're fine there in the run game. It's just we got to be a little bit better on first down, especially in the second half of last week's game.
Ole Miss was very good on third down in that game, and it seemed like there were some third down spots where you guys were struggling to get some pressure on the quarterback. How much were those two maybe connected there?
Well, I don't. We didn't have any pressure on him. Who made the sack? Not Smalls. Miguel. When your leading sack guy is coming from the secondary, you're probably not putting enough pressure on the guy. And we've got to get better there, whether it's twist games or, we can't always blitz, and that's the only way we can get the quarterback. We have to get better there. And with Quincy being hurt, he was one of our better pass rushers, and I think he'll be back. But all that goes hand in hand. We have to be better covering. We have to quit giving up penalties when we run a man coverage. But our guys have to get to the quarterback, and that'll be a challenge that we put to them this week as well as the first three. But we've got to get better there.
Memphis's defense pitched a shutout last week. Just maybe what do you see kind of more holistically on that side of the ball and the challenges that the offense has to go through this week?
Well, we're a totally different offense than what Troy was. Troy tried to empty them out, and quarterback just getting killed. I mean, they were bringing one more they could protect and knock the first guy out, and we're not going to do that. I can promise you that. But they play extremely hard, and they've got good players. And so schematically, it's something they do that we didn't see all last year, and with what we know about the opponents that we're getting ready to play, we're not going to see it again. So that obviously makes a difference. But that would be the only thing, they're a high quarters team, and they're going to give you some things underneath and come up and tackle as long as you can protect. But very different schematics that we have to get prepared for. We'll start today, and by Thursday we'll feel fine on everything we're doing offensively, I'm sure.
Sam, when it comes to tackling from this past week for Ole Miss, what did you see on film that you guys can correct this week?
We use the sideline. We have to use the sideline as our friend. We're not tackling terribly inside the box. Our D-line's got to get off blocks and make more tackles. But it's the space. And, you got to use your friend, your buddy, and vice him, or you got to use the out of bounds. And, they caught a pass over on the sideline. We didn't use the sideline, either one of the guys, and the guy goes an extra 35 yards down the field. To me, that's you got the sideline, force him out. They don't let him come back in, and we did, and it was the same way. Their backs were giving us trouble in open space. So we've got to use our friend. If we don't have a sideline, we've got to know where our guy's coming from. Is he coming from the outside? Do I force him to my friend? Or we've got to use the sideline if he's close to the sideline, and we're not doing a great job of either one of those right now.
When it comes to the physicality of practice, considering that you guys are a little nicked up, do you back off a little bit, or do you stay with the same intensity that you have?
No, I don't think so. I think you go practice. It's a good question. I don't think so. I think, you can't have one or two guys hurt and affect the rest of the team, or you have 4 or 5 guys hurt and affect the rest of the team. You've got to get the team ready. And at that point, when you're backing off, I don't know that you're getting the twos ready either. We have a belief in what we do, and it's difficult because, our offense is playing so well that you don't want to mess with that either. You want to continue, and you believe in what you believe, and I believe in Tuesdays and Wednesdays being physical, and that's how you get better. And so that's what we'll continue to do. We may slow down in week 9 or 10, but not right now. We've got to get better.
Coach, it seemed like, and really good to hear Kanai's doing so well. It seemed like when he got hurt, the long delay, the pause there at the stadium, being there. After that reset, your team really came out emotionally charged up. Was there a conversation on the sideline trying to keep everybody's composure there? What went on behind the scenes there?
Well, I was out with Kanai, so I don't know exactly all the conversation that went on with the coaches. He got basically kneed by our own guy in the back of the head, and that was concerning to him, obviously, and to all of us. But I think, after the delay, it seemed like we played better, and got off the field defensively. And but I don't know that anything was said that necessarily – kids love Kanai, so that may have been an emotional deal for our team.
I'm just curious, Coach, I'm asking you the behind-the-scenes stuff today, but in that sequence out of the 2-minute warning, right? So you guys have the momentum. You come out, you run the screen pass to Jaylen Brown. If you can at all, that conversation there, because you want the clock, right, to be milked too, but you have to score. How do you weigh that balance there in a tough spot?
Well, my thoughts were not if we're going to score. My thoughts were how much time we can take off the clock and score. I mean, that was, I'm sure Lane was over there going, if they get another first down, I've got to start using my timeouts, to get the ball back. So, first of all, there was 26 seconds left before the 2 minute, and I go, hell no, I don't. We're going to wait. I felt like we could go from the 75 yards in 2 minutes with 2 timeouts. So I sure felt like we could do the 26. And I thought we were in great position. They hadn't really stopped us. We hadn't stopped them, but we had the ball with a chance to win. So the thinking there was, I always talk to Bobby, and before the next play, I'm always saying it's you. And if I'm saying that means I'm not going to use the timeout. And so that was, on that case, that was what it was going to be. I think we'd been either 1st and 10 or 3rd and 1. And then the ball came out. But we were very, very confident that we had plenty of time to score, and we're going to win the game. It just unfortunate thing happened.
We've been talking today about some of the defensive things that you're going to talk to the team about, but I wonder, from the big picture standpoint, you get the ball back, and if you go drive and score with 30 seconds or less, you got a road win. I just wonder how you feel big picture about where you guys are after that performance.
Well, let's start offensively. I think Taylor Green was the first guy in the history of this school that had 300 passing and 100 rushing. Goes back, I don't look smart very much, but I did say we got Taylor Green and we got a chance, and nobody else has him, and that's true. So I feel like offensively, our line's better. Man, our wideouts are catching the ball well and running, tight end. We're good there. Running backs, good players, doing a good job. And I think we've got the talent to be much better on defense. And we've got to simplify some things, and we've got to let these guys play. And then find, somebody's going to miss a tackle. Okay, that's fine, but let's don't miss 10. Somebody's going to miss the tackle. Let's line up and make them earn what they do. Let's don't cut somebody loose. And so we've got to be a little simpler there. And then the special teams, we don't punt much, but Devin's doing a good, kicked it out at the 7. And but certainly special teams not a huge factor except for, they made their 2 and we didn't. So right now, I feel like the disappointment of losing can't take away that I think we've got a really good team and we can play with anybody that we play. Our opponents are very good, and so you have to play well. But I feel really good about the football team. We've got some things to correct, but I do think this is one of the better teams that I've had, even though we lost on the road the other night. I still think this is one of our better teams that I've had since I've been here.
There was a leverage play in the NFL yesterday that basically cost the Broncos a win on a field goal. There was a similar situation on your field goal try, it looked like, and you seemed to be pretty upset. You mentioned you were going to send more plays in. Was that one of them?
I'm sorry.
I think maybe your first field goal miss. I've seen a clip of an Ole Miss guy maybe getting over the line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we sent that one in too, and we sent, the guy on the sideline stepping out of bounds about 10 yards before, they didn't review it for whatever reason. So we'll get all those answers back. But yeah, we sent in several. But that was one of them on special teams. I think they flinched on the 3rd and 1, I think they had movement there too. So there's some things that we'll figure out whether we were right or whether we were wrong. We just need explanations on why it was, pass interference on fourth down. I just need an explanation of what they saw.
When they do pass the ball, their two receivers are averaging close to 20 yards a catch. So I'm wondering how much of that is kind of related to their ground game, their commitment to that. Is it what it opens up their downfield passing?
It is, and you can't let him outside. I mean, if the quarterback gets outside, that's when they're going long and they're running crossing routes and hitting their receivers on deep routes there. But he's good in the pocket. He's exceptional if he gets outside the pocket.
I think we all thought you'd be better on the offensive line, but we didn't know how much. But like last year, we'd see guys just unaccounted for, A gap off the edge, and we're not seeing that. And we talk about Taylor and how much he's improved, but how much is that a factor of the comfort that he feels?
Most of it, probably. He's going to scramble because if they lose contain, he's going to put pressure on them, just as we spoke about the Memphis quarterback. But I think it has a lot to do with it. I think he's really confident in Marion and Corey. He should be. I mean, those guys are doing a really good job. We had a couple of bulls, one early on E that got tipped early, but after that, really good by the offensive line. But to answer your question, I think if you ask Taylor, I think it would be a world of difference. And I think he's got wideouts that are precise in their routes, and he knows where they're going to be. And if you've noticed, I think he's throwing the ball a little bit faster than what he did last year. He's making his decisions a little bit faster, and I think it has everything to do with that. And in all honesty, if he turns around and where he's a lot better this year is running the football. I mean, he feels good, and I think with Mike back there having broke some long runs, that they're running to him a little bit more, because of his speed, and Braylon's done a nice job. So I think all that around him and another year with Bobby, but I think the line has a lot to do with how he's playing. I can't hear you.
You're an even 3-3 in SEC openers now. Just kind of curious mentally, what's different about the years going 0-1 versus 1-0?
Nothing right now. I mean, we're just trying to win a game Saturday. You guys got stats that I have no idea about, nor honestly really care about.